That's right.
Okay,
Natural, there we go.
time being 9 o'clock, Monday, June 9th, I call this meeting of the Emergency Management Harrison and Safety Committee to order. This meeting being and all the meetings of the board are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the media in accordance with Wisconsin statutes, so that the citizenry may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of the meeting. Roll call will indicate that everyone's here except Lee Luck. Supervisor Luck. So move on to approve the agenda. You have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Okay, the Supervisor Zog and Vice Chair Nygaard seconds it. Any comments, questions on the agenda? Not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we need a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Supervisor Vasquez,
Second.
Supervisor Zog seconds it. Any changes to the minutes from? April. That's good. Ninth. April. Okay, any comments or questions? If not, I'll favor of approving the minutes as presented.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment? No. Public comment, I guess, so good. Move right into Emergency Management Director's monthly report.
Awesome. Well, thank you. So I changed things up. As you can see, I handed out a little bit of a different form. I thought it'd be a little bit more professional and a little easier for you to look at. So the top part of that is meetings that we attended. And then I broke it down into training events. And then some of the upcoming projects, I thought it'd be nice to give you a preview of some of the stuff we're working on. To kind of keep you in tune. And then my thought is obviously the upcoming projects and events will slide up to the top. And we'll just keep that going. So meetings attended. As usual, hazmat meetings, things are going well out there. Training was good. We had a outside guest come in last meeting from the Oshkosh Fire Department and did some presentations and radiological training, so that went well. County Mavis and Fire Association meetings was at Scandinavia Fire. Attended that. Eric and myself and Kevin and everybody were out there, so it's a good meeting. A lot of my time's been consumed with communications upgrades, tower project. We switched vendors at the sheriff's office, so I've been working with them to facilitate a lot of that changeover, the back end stuff and programming, just ensuring that's going smoothly. So that's been a lot of time consuming things, especially with the weaves, the branches that we have on our system and how it connects the other PDs for dispatch wise as well. So just ensuring that's all done has been a process. Iola car show planning, that's been going well. We had a meeting out at the showgrounds, no issues there as usual. So things are progressing nicely. National weather briefings been, as you all seen the weather last couple months, it's been a little up and down. A couple late nights down here, but we've attended some briefings and some trainings through them. Been very good. TC Energy Group, pipeline safety. We'll talk about that as the next agenda item, as you can see, is an addition. We'll get into that. I have some frustrations with that project. We haven't been really in tune to any of their emergency response plans. They have not provided us with any contact information for anybody out there that we need. They've been very slow to react to our demands. I gave them a hard deadline they did not meet. They finally got to me today with some contact information, but they've kept us very in the dark. A lot of things. We had one meeting, which was great, but after that it was, we'll do what we want. So that was the discussion Eric and myself and some others had that I think we need to have a discussion on the county ordinance. We can talk about that next at the next bullet point on the agenda, but that project is underway. Just give a quick briefing on that. It's going to be 500 people being brought into the area. We're working on that, and it correlates right next to Rawhide, which is obviously known as a hotbed. So that's why I've been pushing very hard for emergency response plans and some knowing information. And it's interesting. Working with the sheriff's office on mutual aid, auto aid for fire departments. Kelly's been doing a great job working with them. Been some meetings that Eric and myself have had with fire departments, Mavis president, vice president, to bring some auto aid to that. So if there's a structure fire, flames and smoke showing, other departments will get paged right away along with them, kind of like a buddy department to help get that process moving. Wisconsin Emergency Management Committee meeting with, obviously we have our regional meeting, talking about the incident support model, which is just a model that we use in the emergency world for how we run incidences, our EOCs, things like that. So it's something that we're learning about and looking at making some changes down the road. It's been good talking. Presented damage assessment training at the County Towns Association. So we had the towns meeting, I think last month. Can't remember. Yep. Really well. We handed out some new binders. Don't have one in here. I'm happy to show you after the meeting, but all the towns gave some nice new binders on contact information, what to do. Had some sample documentation in there. So it was a good project. I give Eric a lot of credit. He did a great job putting those together and helping with that. So
We try and time that to follow spring election so that we get that information out to any people on the town boards.
good meet and greet too. Good time to refresh those and get a lot of contact. Farm Tech Days, it's coming very quick. Been working diligently on the incident action plan with State Patrol, the Sheriff's Office and them. I have a 55-page document typed up in my office, ready to go for a meeting. So I think we got it pretty well covered. Traffic flows and pretty much any incident you can think of is ready to go. I won't be able to attend their meeting tonight, but I'll be at their next one. So it's been at every other one pretty much. So it's coming along. It's going to be a big thing. Lots and lots of people. Starting to get to the point where we're involving fire departments and getting those plans and tabletops later. Training and events. Eric and I went down to Madison. Went to a U.S. Department of Agricultural Animal Sheltering during disaster training. Good training. Trying to keep our four-legged and two-legged friends involved too. If we do have a disaster, we train to help them, sheltering and needs that they may need. So a good class. Instructed and assisted rapid response training. So this is for all the fire departments countywide. Work with the sheriff's department to provide RTF training to all the fire departments, how to effectively manage a active threat at a school. We did it at the schools, went through the motions with the SWAT team or the RTF team. Went well. The feedback was great. Had a lot of great participation. I did send out a survey. I don't have those results yet, but we did send out a survey on how they liked it and if they want to see any improvements. And so far, all the verbal stuff's been great. Good. Hosted emergency management meet and greet for the WMS 8th grade students. So we invited them. They were over here for seeing the sheriff's office, SWAT team, MRAP. And then this year we brought them in for emergency management and hazmat. So we had the hazmat truck up front and had a lot of good hands-on. The feedback, again, really good. The teachers asked if we could please do that again in the future. The students really, really loved it. They had no idea about emergency management and really what it does. So it's very enlightening to see them perk up when we talk about some of the stuff that we do and I had no idea. We sparked a career interest in the field.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so it was good. There was a lot of students. The entire 8th grade came through. So. And then run, hide, fight training and severe weather training. Held that at the 600 building. Lieutenant Andy Thorpe from the sheriff's office. We did a full-on drill. We evacuated the whole building.
What's the 600 building?
So that's the buyer's guide building. It's where the
Pretty much all the second.
Yeah. But we wanted to make sure that they were trained and understood where to go for severe weather as well as an active threat.
Yeah.
We do have an agreement with the business next door, east side. So they have sheltering space if they need it at a different location. So, but they did a great job with the drill. They evacuated that building in seconds. And I played the role of the shooter or the active threat. I came through the front door and I couldn't find anybody. It was amazing. They did an amazing job. So I was making a lot of noise. So, but I was pretty proud of it. And Andy too from the sheriff's office thought it was really, really well. And then upcoming projects. I have first aid stop the bleed training coming in. Gold Cross is going to be here doing some training countywide for all employees. June 19th, I believe that is. So if you're interested in any of that, I'll send out an invite. More than welcome. I'm going to try and schedule a couple days just so everyone's schedule is free if you're interested in that. Manual Rodeo's coming fast. Got some meetings coming up for that. Planning stuff. So that's on the agenda. The Iola Car Show is coming. Union Thrashery. And right after the Iowa Car Show, they're gonna have a bluegrass festival. Gonna be very large as well. That's gonna be another thing that we're planning for in the future. And then Simcoe New London Tower projects. Still in the midst of that. Simcoe's in phase 2. So the tower is erected, it's up. I'm putting together a nice little slideshow and binder just to be able to show some pictures and highlights of that. But that's in phase 2, so the pad's being poured, buildings being put on. Basically the fencing and the generator getting hooked up. Phase 3 would be the transmit or the movement of all the equipment. Progressing. New London is starting phase 1. So that site development, sites getting cleared. And then I'm going to be doing survey 1, 2, 3 and damage assessment training for the amateur radio group. So they're having their meeting at the Fox Valley Tech this Thursday, I believe. And I will be there doing damage assessment training, as well as there's an app called Survey 1, 2, 3, which they can go in the field and live data, take a picture, put in the descriptives of damage, and it goes right back to us. It's a great tool to use, trying to keep them in tune to us. So if we do have any natural disasters or any need, we can mobilize them in a heartbeat. It's kind of the report. I wanted to make it flow a little easier. You guys something to look at a little better. And hopefully it's okay. I'm open to suggestions. Otherwise, I'll continue with it.
When is the power project in London scheduled to be completed if everything goes well?
TC Energy within, what did you say, how many weeks?
Tower project.
Or, the tower project?
Tower.
I apologize. Tower fall, right around there, I'm in the fall for Simcoe. New London will be,
London one.
oh, sorry, New London next year.
Next year first. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, that one's drawn out a little bit. I think what happened with the movement of the site pushed things behind a little bit on it. But our contractor is very quick. I think we're gonna make up some time in there. It's just the cure times with concrete really puts us a delay. So,
What are they doing there?
building a new tower, radio tower,
Where bus?
right by the apartment building. Go ahead.
Yeah, next to the cemetery on MCC property.
Oh,
I'll get some pictures. I have pictures, but I'll put it together for the next meeting to show you some progress. It's quite interesting how that all goes. But we were able to, the bids for the contracts came in. We've kept the same contractor for both projects so far. So we've been doing really well with it. Budgetarily, we're right on point. Keep very watch fly. I don't see any hiccups. I think things are going good. The difference is we did make that contract change with our communications provider for maintenance and service. So GenCom is the new company, and they are now going to be the ones doing the movement of the old equipment to the new building. So I'm working with them to get that all in line. They were just here Friday. Did a nice job again. Don't have any complaints with them yet. We're in the infancy stages of that relationship. So, but so far, I will say that they've done a great job keeping us well taken care of.
Zach's been working pretty hard too. One of the advantages with GenCom is they can offer so many other services than what we were using in the past. So with our recorder system, they are also an authorized dealer for that. They're a dealer for and authorized technicians for the Zetron system. They're going to start managing the generators, and so if something breaks, you call one company and they're going to take care of it.
Coming from private sector, I dealt with bids and contracts. One thing is why do we have this here and this there and that there? So I restructured it and just really said, we're going to call one number if possible. And that was my suggestion to Tim in the sheriff's office. Getting those numbers back, very large cost savings as well. That was my goal, is to bring it all into one circle. So far, it's been very good. It's just a lot of work on the back end getting transitioned. But we're getting there. I think that's all I have for my report, sir.
Sounds good. Any questions?
Is Tristan your contact?
Is. Tristan is. He's been great.
Yeah, he's a good guy to work with.
Problem is, it's outside of Tristan. He's limited. That's where the frustrations grow. Michael's is really dragging it. So, Tristan's good.
Any other questions? Okay, great report. Thank you. Next, item number 2, discussion on revising chapter 5 of Waupaca Code. ordinances, adding a section authorizing emergency management director the ability to issue a requirement for special needs, special hazard project emergency response plans and proper contacts for communication.
Yep, so like I said earlier, this kind of sparked from that project. They have not turned in any emergency response plans or contact information. I have a problem with it. Yes, we've had in-person meetings, but with Rawhide being right there, 500 workers on site, people from out of state. Yes, I can call Tristan. Yes, I can maybe get a hold of somebody out there, but I don't know any pre-planning, don't know any of that. So my thought process in having this conversation with Eric, we have two routes of travel on this one. We wanted to talk to you about it. Can we add a section to the emergency management code, which is section 5? And I have a draft of that, which would be special events and special hazard projects. Or do we look at adding another chapter to the county ordinance for special events, special projects that would encompass zoning, parks, everybody? So then basically, let's say we have a special event. Are they up to date with zoning or parks and have proper permitting? Or they have an emergency response plan in place? So we have two different routes of travel on this. I guess I'm really open to your feedback on it.
I talked to John Francis last week, to kind of get an overview of what they have at the fairgrounds, and there aren't a lot of activities outside of the fair. They have some smaller things that happen there. But, you know, even the requirements for environmental health, I mean, they have food services there, they know they have to have a permit. There's not one place that references that. There's a little bit here, there's a little bit here, a little bit there. It's all kind of captured under a requirement. Okay, you need to have a plan in place, have to have, if you're gonna serve food. Many people, you know, that land is part of that. There's no real central organization for it.
Wouldn't it fall under
Without
the
having-
health department?
What's that?
Wouldn't it fall under the health department requirements for the food trucks and?
That would, but then who has that information? Everything is kind of compartmentalized. So I was talking with Don, I said, do you have contact information for people that are using the fairgrounds? He goes, yeah. I said, so how do we get that? Well, it's on one of our desks, but there's no central repository in a plan. So if something bad happens, what do you do? And I, you know, that's what we do. We plan for things to go bad, not to go good. And there's no requirement at county level to do that. Most of the cities have special event requirements and they have fee structure and whatnot. And I don't necessarily believe that we need to go that route. But who's the point of contact for
Well, John.
special events?
John Francis, I'm going way back when they built that new building. We're having our meetings on. I thought John had all that on.
Yeah, just,
There's an
You
application.
know,
You have to apply for it. There's a fee for using the facilities at the
Yeah.
fairground, just as an example. But there's, other than you applied for it, you've got the date set and this is that. You have a plan in place for a weather event. Are you having food? Do you know you have to contact environmental health? They have that inspected.
there's no ordinance.
There's no structure to it.
people bring their own food and stuff. I'm sure they got
If it's
that.
private, but now
Yeah.
if it's open to the public, then you have to have it inspected.
But we don't have any, nothing. And like this TC Energy project, I have no grounds to stand on. They can do whatever they want. I don't have an ordinance that says I can't stop them and I can't.
Oh, yeah.
So for Michaels to ghost me or just his office, I have no leg to stand on. I can force them until I'm blue in the face and maybe get Diane to send a nasty letter, but
And telling them what?
no. Tell them
What
no.
did John have to say?
He said there's probably room for it. You know, we've been lucky. I guess it's
I feel
better
like
to be
it's,
lucky than good.
yeah, I feel like we're past the prime to have something.
It doesn't have to be restricted.
Yes. What? You use words, but what is considered a special event?
So
I mean, just so everybody understands what we're talking about.
Right, and as we get into it a little bit more, so a special event might be a concert, a bluegrass festival. Parades would be exempt probably, I don't know.
I'm just asking.
We'd have to come up with a list of that.
I think a special event would classify something that has a large population of people, in a small area. You know, something that warrants a pre-plan. If you're having a special event that's 15 people, okay, we'll manage that. We'll fall back on some other existing plans. But when we get thousands of people or a project of 500 workers coming in, I think those are more of a special. You know, we got to define that. You're absolutely right. You know,
The reason I asked the question, I mean, I'm from the Clintonville area and our church, St. Martin's, we started this, we call it Rural Sunday.
Mhm.
So we're out at close and there's probably 400, 500 people there. Is that a special event?
Could
I don't
be.
know.
and we don't know. I guess for us, it'd be case by case, you know, to look at it. And the place you're having that may already have something in place, that they have a good severe weather plan or something of that nature that doesn't warrant a lot of involvement. It can just be a check the box and go everything. But I agree. We'd have to define the special.
I think that's the best way though. Anything that involves 200 people.
Correct. There's got to be a number.
You draw a line at, if you anticipate 200 people, then you need to jump through these.
And it's not like it's not a permit.
No, I'm just trying to understand.
Well, the thing they're having there, I mean, it's on the Parks Committee when that stuff first started, and the idea was to have like private weddings, things like that. Well,
And that was.
is that a special event?
Nope. So then like a,
Special event is something open to the public,
open to the public. So if it's
not a
private,
private wedding.
no, if it's private, then Parks has a plan based on
Okay.
what they have.
This is if we can't limit or know how many people are coming. If it's public, we could get 1,000 people or 20,000. But the problem is if we get 20,000 right now, we have no plan. We don't know, we don't.
And we're just throwing it out on the table.
Yeah, that's why we're asking for your feedback. You know, I got frustrated with this TC Energy project because everything has been great. You know, up until I need to hold them accountable and I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, I've been demanding these emergency response plans. Tristan and TC have been wonderful. But Michael's is just, no.
Okay, let me take it another step further. So.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna come about or not, but up in the town of Matson, the Larrabee, there's potential for a solar farm. So where does that fall in?
That would be, I would consider that a special hazard project.
I'm just asking.
No, I would consider that a special hazard project. And it could be a very basic plan, but most of these large corporations that would put that in or manage that are gonna already have this. You know, Michael's, that's what's so stunning to me is Michael's is not new. They have these plans. They know exactly what they're doing. But they're not.
With that solar farm too, that's about 1,500 acres that they're looking at. So there's gonna be some environmental concerns. And if you're gonna build another Dollar General someplace, I wouldn't call that a special hazard. That's pretty commonplace. It's normal building practice, but the out of the ordinary things that are gonna have environmental impact, potentially, people protesting is one of the things we look at. I know with the pipeline. We went out to South Dakota, North Dakota, when they were doing the pipeline out there, there were quite a few protesters, none of them local. With solar farms, you're gonna get the same thing. Wind farms, you can get the same thing. So those are what I would consider the special hazards.
And like the equipment they're using building it. So you're gonna have all kinds of diesel fuel out there, that kind of stuff. What happens if you have a spill? What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What streams are involved?
They're boring under the Wolf River, or the river here.
Yeah.
And we don't know anything about it. We know what's going on, right? But we don't know, what do they have out there? What the backup plan if something collapses is. I don't even have a contact, except for Tristan.
When is that gonna happen?
It's happening
On
right
the
now.
river
They're
now.
they're already boring.
They're already boring.
Really?
They got one at a bore machine on Slough Road by Waupaca, and then one by Rawhide there.
Yeah.
They have to go 150 feet below the bottom of the river And then when they meet in the middle, then they draw back,
The west side.
they draw back towards Waupaca.
Okay,
And as they go, they inject this slurry, this slick mud. And then when the east side, machine gets to the west side, they hook up the pipe and they start dragging the pipe through that way. So it's gonna be over a mile's worth of pipe.
does that affect you or the cable crossing area?
Yeah, that's the area. And yeah, it's been years that we've been dealing with them. They're gonna be out of the township by the end of July. They have to be ready to pump gas through that line by October.
The line shut down.
Yeah. So and it's really between 500 and 700 people, crew that they have working in separate sections along the way. So they're welding pipe together, they're hauling, overweight loads there. They got all kinds of excavators and all kinds of things out there now, just going to town. They have wetlands where they can't store things, they have it all marked and it's all, but like these guys are saying, what happens, the town doesn't know either, if they have a big diesel spill, what do we do? Who calls who to get that cleaned up?
Hazmat asked me
Appropriately.
about it and I go, I can't answer that. How do we pre-plan for that? That's the pressure,
Both companies are very large and they're prepared for it,
Right,
100%.
but they're just not sharing stuff very well.
right.
Because there's nothing, too, and I think that's why we need to either look at adding, a revision to chapter 5 that kind of forces that hand a little bit, or we need to think about adding a chapter in the county ordinance that covers these special events.
Personally, I don't think it belongs in 5. I think that should be, because it's gonna involve so many other departments, should be a separate
Standalone.
standalone.
Yeah, it should be a standalone, and then emergency management's part of that, parks is part of that, and then we can define that out better. But that's really what, I just wanted to get this on the table, just to get that conversation started. I'm not looking to do this overnight, but put it in your minds a little bit and think about it, and then we can kind of go from there. But I really think we're to the point where we need to get a little more serious with the conversation on it. And look at long term, what's best for the county and what do we do?
I think it's a good idea. It would be this department, hazmat, sheriff's department, health department, parks department.
Kelly set up, some back-end private code red, for this project. But we can't get contact information. She spent all that time getting code red set up. That's what they wanted, because if there's an issue, we can alert everybody. We can get the sheriff's office alerted to things. Rawhide's already a sensitive thing. Now we have 500 more people out there, 700, plus a pipeline going in. So we're trying to be pre-planned with some of this stuff, but she still hasn't received any of that information either. So that's where my frustration grows. With, the other entities are getting in the same boat. So,
I would envision, basically a checklist, okay? With the pipeline project and the solar project are a little bit different, but I think they could be captured in the same ordinance. But as far as the special events go, okay, here's a checklist. Do you have this? You need to do this. Are you gonna do this? Are you having a parade? It's gonna have fireworks. It's gonna do this. And most of the cities already have something, I should say about half do. And the townships kind of rely on, well, most of them don't have a lot of events out in the township. I mean, other than established ones that have been out there forever.
they rely on us.
The Threshery and the Weekender, we really don't have good plans for them, but there's no requirement for it. We ask for it, we get good participation from them, but there's just no requirement.
Same thing with putting a tunnel underneath Highway E. Yeah, I know that's not a huge hazard. I knew it was coming. I found out when the road was closed. So, I mean, just things like that, and then our office, we got phone calls on, why is the highway shut down? How do I get to a hospital? I learned when you learned, it's behind. I got an email from Casey now that, it's behind, but I didn't know anything about that because there's no requirement. that contractor is Michael's corporation. Same boat, I asked for contact information from them for that project.
So it sounds like your recommendation is to go with as a code five
Standalone chapter in the county law.
standalone.
So these are not the ones that you're looking, I mean, this
This was a-
one's gonna be different.
This was just to, if we wanted to do a change in addition to chapter 5. This is not this was first what we talked about or thought about. We're to the point now where we feel as though an additional chapter to the county ordinance would
Not really changing chapter 5, but
add.
that was the first kick of the cat. Yeah. We didn't like that cat.
But we wanted to provide you with everything that we've been thinking about, to make your informed decision on what you think.
So it sounds like consensus of this group is to go with a separate chapter.
I just, what, because I don't want to get people all confused either, so. So if you have, a big celebration in London for Irish, where does that fit in the process?
City, they have a great plan. The city does a great
You
job.
don't have to get involved. Don't have fireworks neither.
Don't have to get involved. The cities the cities that already have those pre-plans,
Animal rodeo. So it's more in the townships than.
it's more townships and special projects.
The county really doesn't have anything other than fairgrounds and a couple wayside parks.
The events, I guess for me, the events are far and few. It's more of these special projects, the pipelines, the tunnels, anything that's coming up, these bigger projects. That's more where you're gonna see this come involved. But like New London has a wonderful plan. They do a great job with it.
They also have a police department.
No, I understand. I just want to see.
Yep, no.
No, there's a lot of defining that's gonna have to go into it, what constitutes a special event.
Well, that's what I mean. You gotta get this.
I mean, it's just
This is just
very,
getting
very first. We started talking about this last week.
Okay.
and we're happy to put more together. We wanted to get this, get that discussion started and basically get your approval to go forward with something like that draft form, obviously.
Even Scandinavia cornrows, there's really we work really well with all the organizers of the cornrows, but there's never been anything put on paper with us. Sheriff's Department provides not security, but law enforcement aspect of it. And you got a fire department, you got multiple EMS services. We're looking, at public safety is the biggest concern there. How do you deal with those people? What do they do if there's a storm? And cornrows, they always have a storm, either Saturday night or Sunday.
Run for the hills is not a plan.
Well, I think Iowa Car Show is gonna start doing more events. They're bringing that.
They're really trying.
So they're great to work with. They're not saying no,
They're great.
but to come up with common requirements, I think be very, very helpful.
Yeah, when we met over there, when I last met there, the Iowa one, their vision is to really rent that space, really push it.
I gotta get this all in my mind here because on Saturday, I went into the town of Larrabee. They had the great big Amish event. There's one car there was 1,500 cars there. How are we gonna deal with that? I'm just asking the question.
Yep, no, that's good. I guess for me, we have to look at when they turn that information in or look at it, do you anticipate this to be over the number of, let's say, 200? Could you theoretically get more than 200? Yes, I could. Or no way, I'm not gonna have that. I'm gonna have 10 to 15. Okay. I guess that's where I would define that is could this event be open to the public? And could it draw more than 200? That would be my line.
Okay, let's take the Amish a step further.
Yep.
So, okay, this event is always in June, and this is their auction event. I mean, they have people from all over town. They also have once a month a breakfast.
Yep.
Out there that probably draws about 250. Just so we know what we're doing.
It's the same. Yep. Is it on the same grounds?
Same route.
Use the same plan.
Yep, they'd have one plan.
One plan, good to go. Hey, I'm gonna have 6 events, but here's my plan. Okay, looks
And
great.
what this could be too is like a template for people that don't understand
Absolutely.
what they need to think about.
Right.
That, like you said, check the box, do you have this in place? And if you do, great. It's just, check the box.
Once we have that in place, which is great for us, is then I can send it off to the fire departments, the law enforcement agencies, the ambulance services and say, here's the plan. Do you have any questions? We can talk about it if they do, but everyone knows what's going on. They all have an understanding of what's gonna happen.
Well, they have that, going on now, 54, that antique shop. Their sign says they'll have a bake sale, Amish bake sale periodically, maybe once a month. I don't know how many people they draw, but
20 maybe? The red one on 54 towards New London? Yeah, I think they'd be limited, but this would all be fact finding. You know, we'd have to really look at it and study some of the events and things that go on
Yeah, and that kind of thing, people roll in and roll out.
Yeah.
You don't have
in one
two
concert.
hundred people standing
Like
in
what
one
it
spot
is.
for 4 hours, 5
Well-
hours, or.
And to be honest, guys, this is gonna be something too, that's gonna take a lot of public outreach. If we make this change, it's a lot of pushing that to educate the public that, hey,
Sure.
we're making this change. And we'll do that, you know, social media, news, whatever. We'll make that clear that, hey, we're working towards this. We're not here to not have events. We're here to make events safer and pre-plan things.
Then what is the consequence of not filing the plan?
Don't know yet.
That's where we leave it up to the experts like you all.
We have nothing right now. We have absolutely nothing right now. We can't even say, would you do a plan for us if there
We have to bank right now.
maybe a good scolding?
You're close to retirement. We can send you in. But no, that's really the infancies. We're looking for your blessing to move forward with some of these recommendations in draft form.
go ahead, but how come something's gonna be ordained?
Did I misspell something?
Oh, ordained.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. This was just a draft form of a
I know. I'm just curious.
confession.
There you go.
Okay,
All right, so you got a little motion to proceed forward with,
I'll make that motion.
Yeah.
Second it.
very good. Can you tell us what the motion is that we just?
Yeah, I would say it's a motion for a recommendation on authorize for a new chapter for special events and response plans. Something of that nature or special.
Okay.
I just take the title.
Or do we have to amend or what, modify chapter 5?
No, we're gonna add a new chapter.
That's the whole chapter.
I apologize, I don't have the agenda in front of me, but I would use the title of that as the.
Discussion revising chapter 5 of the Waupaca Code of Ordinances.
Yeah, I would say adding a chapter to county ordinance of the special events and context.
Okay, motion's been made, seconded, on the question. Just, and then that you would give this to our legal counsel before you give it to us.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, just so.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will have to go through here and Elgis and everybody, you know.
And what have,
Yeah, bring it to us. We'll look it over, make any recommendations, and then it would probably go to Diane.
Yeah.
Review.
and prior to that, it's gonna go to quite a few departments. you know.
We'll get their input,
Public health, park and rec, planning and zoning.
add your piece, what do you see, and then we'll collaborate and put that all together for you.
Yeah.
That is a nice package, you give you some time to review it, and we'll get it to Diane for approval. Go from there.
Law enforcement.
Very good. Motion's been made, seconded. Any other questions? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are
Done.
done. Motion to adjourn.
You wanna-
Oh,
Oh, one more comment or question?
Yeah.
Oh, so it was brought up about, this meeting, should I explore having this at Fox Valley Tech at the next meeting, would that be easier for everybody?
Who's all on now?
Elgis.
Agreed.
You have a meeting there now?
At 10.
Would it be better if I moved this to Fox Valley Tech, so you're all in one spot? I just wanna, if that's the group. Those that are not on Elvis, is that okay?
Yeah.
Just making it easier for everybody, so time wise.
We talked about moving it to 8:30 to give you a half hour.
yeah. Someone got screwed up.
That's me.
We're always-
I'm new.
Up 5 o'clock.
I don't know how long I can use that, but.